At this point, I would like to welcome Mr. Mitch Roth to the floor. He has joined us now. And Mr. Roth, thank you for joining us. Aloha.
Aloha.
Your 2 minutes on your self-introduction will begin right now. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you. Aloha, I'm Mitch Roth. I'm your current elected county prosecutor for the last 8 years. My wife, Noriko, and I, we've raised 3 children here on this island. They all went to school here, went away to college, and now are successfully living on the mainland. I love this island, and I love its people, and that's why I'm running for mayor. Over my career as a prosecutor, and during this campaign, I've had the opportunity to ask people what it is that they want to see in government, and really what you want to see is what I want to see, whether you're from Waimea, Ka'u, North Korea, any place in this island. We all want to see affordable housing. We want to see well-paying jobs. We want an infrastructure, whether it be roads that are up to par, but most importantly, we want an effective and efficient government. There's 3 things that differentiate me from the other candidates. The first is that I'm a department head, and I actually work in the county. I've seen some of the problems, seen some of the issues. I know how to deal with employees. I have one of the hardest working staffs on the island. But it also shows me some of the things that maybe things that will snag people up, things like procurement contracts, dealing with civil service. If you don't know how to deal with these, the county could get sued and could cost you as taxpayers a lot of money. That's the second thing that I have an advantage of. I'm the only attorney in this race, so I know how to read the laws, understand the laws, and interpret the laws. And that's really important right now because some of the ways our laws are being interpreted are preventing our business community from thriving. And finally, and most importantly, I'm an innovative, out-of-the-box problem solver who's proven to have been able to do things that people said couldn't be done. Things like trying cold cases, starting the weed and seed site in Pahoa. That became a national project that sent me around the nation teaching problem solving, or starting our restorative justice program in the prosecutor's office, the very first in the nation that is now being copied by other agencies from around the United States. You know, we all want a better future with COVID. Things in the future are going to be different. We're going to need a leader that has the ability to solve problems and make things happen. And I believe that I am that person. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. And now welcome one of our board members, Louis Dubois, who will be presenting with a couple of questions over the next 12 minutes. So as mentioned, please be concise as we can try and address as many of these topics as possible. And we appreciate you answering these community questions. Thank you, sir. Louis, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, James. Aloha, Mr. Roth. Thank you for your time today, and let's get into the questions. Our first question for you is that if you're elected as mayor, you're going to be tasked with appointing different department heads, deputies, some staff and council totaling about 60 to 65 people. How do you plan on making these selections, and what are you going to look for when selecting key staff members for these county programs and services?
Throughout my career, I've been a collaborator, and so I will collaborate with various people from the community, whether they supported me or not. There's a lot of people that have a lot of really good opinions. I will be talking to them. We'll do interviews to make sure that we have the right kind of people that are going to make government work for the community rather than be an obstacle in the community.
And as a follow-up question, how would you would you be looking to diversify your appointments throughout the island of Hawaii? And how would you?
Absolutely. This is a big island, and it deserves to have people from around the island as its division directors and its deputies. As a matter of fact, right now in the prosecutor's office, my first deputy is from Kona, and for a while she was the only other division director in this county that is from someplace other, well, someplace on the west side of the island. I think the Big Island deserves to have leadership from around the island and make sure that we're also working in both places. The Civic Center in West Hawaii and in Hilo, we should be there regularly. The department head should be there regularly, and it should be looking at the needs of the entire island.
Great, thank you. In light of the recent economic impacts of COVID-19, how would you move Hawaii County towards a more resilient and diversified economy? And if you could please provide any specific examples that you would be able to provide in your capacity as mayor?
Moving forward, we first have to understand the issue. Who has been unemployed? So we want to get people back to work. Most of those people are in the tourism industry. Tourism will come back with government assistance. And so we need to be sure that we're helping that industry succeed. There's a great demand, so we want to make sure that they're able to come back and succeed. We also have shovel-ready CIP jobs that are ready. We need to get our construction industry back in business. We need to work with our business community as well. Find out from our business community what things that government is doing well, not doing well, how they can help, and in certain cases, get out of the way so that businesses can thrive and bring jobs back and get people back on their feet. We also need to look at the same time, diversifying our economy, whether that be through agriculture, science and technology, or renewable energies. All of these things are ways of bringing jobs, getting our economy going, and bringing us back to the table. The other thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we have a cadre of grant writers that are able to help all of the departments bring funds in. Funds don't just come, you have to work on them. As a prosecutor, I have experience bringing in millions of dollars of funds through grant writing. However, that was through people in our own agency. We need to make sure that the county has people that are able to bring in for all of the departments.
Great, thank you. You mentioned energy as a way of diversifying our economy. How would you help Hawaii County become an energy self-reliant economy and reduce our dependence on fossil fuels?
So realize this, Hawaii County has probably the best renewable energy opportunities of any place in the world, whether it be solar, wind, geothermal, or other things that are out there. We have those opportunities. Those opportunities look to jobs. You know, one of the problems that we have put on us is our island and our state, and particularly our island, has been viewed as anti-business. We need to make sure that government is out of the way so these agencies can help come in, make sure that we're using renewable energies, make sure that we're looking out for our environment and for our future.
Okay. You also mentioned using agriculture as a way of making a more robust economy. If you're elected mayor, what's your vision for agriculture on this island, and what specific strategies do you have?
You know, the Big Island is the breadbasket of the state, and we have more land and more opportunities for agriculture than any place in the rest of the state. As a prosecutor, I've actually been working with farmers. We started an agricultural investigator program to protect our farmers, to help them with food security. But as mayor, making sure that we're also providing opportunities for the farmers. There's a lot of people that have land and not using it. There's a lot of people that are farmers that don't have land to use. Government can help them in maybe pairing up, making sure that they're able to do these things. We talked about grant writers. There's a lot of money from the Department of Agriculture in grant monies. Government should be there to help people succeed rather than acting as an obstacle. So possibly using some of our grant writers to help some of these people writing grants, obtaining money, and moving forward.
Great, thank you. Moving into the topic of our budget, we're expected to see a drop in revenue due to COVID-19. How would you balance the county budget with this projected drop in revenue?
You know, one of the things that we need to do in government is we need to do a better job of sitting down with all of the departments, not just the department heads, but going into the departments and meeting with the people that are doing the jobs. I was talking to someone who was working in an apartment, and they said that they've never had the mayor or the managing director come and talk to them. You know, in problem solving, we've realized that you can go to the top and get part of the answer, but if you go to everybody else and talk to them about what's going on, you can learn a lot. Over the last couple of years, I've invited in our council because they really didn't understand, in my view, what was going on with the budget. They got one side of the story, we got one side of the story. If you don't understand why people are working overtime, who's working overtime, what things that can be cut, it's really difficult to make a balanced budget. So I think that's going to be a really important thing, whoever is mayor, that they need to go sit down, talk to everybody, find out where you can cut, where you're doing well, and what are the things that are available, such as looking for grants and things like that. And that's going to take a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach, because grants, sometimes they're there, like our CARES money, but a lot of times you have to go out and you have to actively seek those, and you need people who know how to do that.
Okay. On the topic of capital improvement projects on our island, how important do you feel it is for the mayor to promote those capital improvement projects, and what are some specific projects that you have in mind?
It's very important. Capital improvement projects mean you're putting our construction people, our construction industry to work. And that really is important to make sure that our economy is going. So there's a lot of things that we need to work on. I'll take two. The landfill is one of them. We're hauling rubbish over to the other side. We need to look at other alternatives, and I can talk about those if you want to follow up with that. The other thing is we've got some roads in Kona that have been on the books for a while. We also have a Kealakekee wastewater treatment plant that may get us sued in the next couple of years. We just had a lawsuit on Maui that deals with their wastewater treatment, and ours is kind of in a similar situation. So that may be something that we are forced to do quickly so we don't end up getting sued in the future.
Okay, I'd like to follow up on your what you're talking about, the solid waste management, and what ideas you have for that.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of things that have been talked about. Waste to energy is one. They have anaerobic digesters is another one. Shipping stuff over to Honolulu's waste to energy. I think we need to really look at all of these different opportunities, because they are opportunities for us, and maybe not look at things in the same lens that we did in the past, where it's one thing or the other. Maybe we're looking short term at another site while we're looking into recycling, sorting and recycling, and maybe sending those things to different things. But we have opportunities that we haven't looked at yet. And one of the things I plan on doing in the first 100 days is having a sustainability summit where we're actually talking about these kinds of things, as well as our environment.
Okay, thank you. What is your position on the 30-meter telescope, and why?
So I support the 30-meter telescope. 30-meter telescope provides us with jobs. It has helped it will help our economy. It keeps our kids here. One of our biggest export right now is our children. And if we're going to keep on doing that, that's a problem. I understand also that there's a lot of mistrust in government that's well deserved. And we need to be more transparent, working with people and moving forward. But I believe that the 30-meter telescope will provide jobs. It will provide a future for our children to stay here, and it will help in so many different ways. Plus, I support astronomy as well.
Okay. For affordable housing and homelessness, they were serious issues that we were concerned about before COVID-19, but with high unemployment, it seems like it's going to be an even bigger problem in the future. So could you share some specific strategies that you have to pursue addressing homelessness and lack of affordable housing?
So homelessness, we have some good plans that are in place for housing first. That is a national recommendation. You house people first. However, we've been slow, and actually it seems that we've been our own worst enemy as the government. As far as affordable housing, I'm going to get into some of these things. With homelessness, you have to have homelessness, maybe a one-stop shop where they can get treatment and other things. with affordable housing, there's two different issues. One, if you're talking about the Section 8 and buildings of affordable housing units, government needs to do a better job of working together and helping people build those things. As far as regular houses, you know, one of the things we need to really do is fix our permitting system. It's a mess. It's a long, arduous process. People are going in there, they're submitting plans, they're being told to do things.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. We have one more question for you, Lewis, if you don't mind asking the last question for Mr. Roth, please. Got you on mute.
You're mute.
There we are. Okay, there we are. Mr. Roth, if you could please share one specific thing that you've worked on and dedicated a lot of your time and effort to that you think demonstrates why you are qualified to be mayor. Could you please share that with us?
Sure. You know, like I said earlier, I'm a problem solver, and I've thought outside the box and been able to come up with actually several different initiatives that have helped this island. We talked about Weed and Seed. VASH is the Visit Aloha Society, Citizens Emergency Response Team. Those are things I've helped to start. But I'll go back to the restorative justice, especially looking at what's happening around the country and making changes in justice. Our restorative justice program has been a real success in that we've had very low recidivism, the rate in which people reoffend. And that's really important when you look at sending kids to like HYCF, or Hawaii Youth Correction Facility, at $200,000 a year per kid, and a success rate of 25%. Our restorative justice has been at 95%, and our juvenile crime on this island has been reduced by about 50% over the last 8 years. And so it's working together with people to make things happen around the island that really makes the difference. And those are the things I really think differentiate me from other candidates in this race.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. Appreciate your time and joining us this evening. All the best to you. Aloha. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha.